everyone, how are we? Good? Brilliant. Okay, first of all, we're going to write the title. Sorry, not the title, but the date. As always, I'm going to write 2 different dates because some of you have English class on Monday and others have English class on Tuesday. Okay, that is why I am going to write 2 different dates. So, for some of you, today is going to be Monday, the 20th of April 2020, and for others it's going to be Tuesday, Tuesday the 21st of April 2020. Okay, so we are going to continue with question words. Okay, we started the other day and then we have studied who, and today we are going to continue with this. Okay, we know, just to refresh our minds, that question words are words that we use to start a question. Okay, good. The other day we did who. Okay, I guess that many of you, most of you, understood everything correctly. But anyway, if you need any more help, you can tell me, okay? Good. Then, today we are going to go for where, okay? So, first of all, before starting with where, everyone needs to have this very clear, okay? Because this we are going to need it for all the rest of the WH words except who, okay? This we are going to use it for where, for when, for why, how much, how many, for all the WH words except who. So what is an auxiliary verb? An auxiliary verb is a verb that help us to create the questions. Okay, these verbs are helping verbs, okay? These verbs are going to help us to make the question. And they are very, very, very important, okay? They are super important. Because if we don't use auxiliary verbs in questions, the questions are not correct, okay? So we need to pay a lot of attention to auxiliary verbs, and we must use them when we create a question, okay? Good. So, in the answer, we must pay attention to the verb to decide which auxiliary verb we are going to use to make the question. So, there are 2 different auxiliary verbs. We have the verb to be, I am, you are, he is, she is, we are, they are, okay? Those are the verb to be, and then we have the verb to do. For example, I do, she does. Also, we can use these 2 auxiliary verbs in the past. In the case of verb to be, we can use was or were, and in the case of the verb to do, we can use did. Okay, remember, the past of do is did. Brilliant. Whoops. So, it says, if the verb to be is or are, was or were, it says, if we have this verb in the answer, we have to use it in the question. So, if we see the answer, and the answer contains the verb to be, we must use the verb to be in the question. Okay? Good. But if in the answer is not the verb to be, we are going to use the verb to do. Okay? We are going to see it now, so don't worry. Okay? Good. Now, so where? We are going to start today with where, as I told you. Okay? Here we have a question, and the first question is, where is your brother? These 3 questions are going to use the auxiliary verb to be. And you can see it here. Is the one in green? Can you see the ones in green? Those are the auxiliary verbs, okay? The verb to be. And then you can see where in blue. Here is where in blue. And in the answer, you can see what is where referring to. Remember that we said that where is a place. So in this case, at home is a place. Yes or no? Good. So we have a look at the answer. My brother is at home. We are going to take away at home because at home is the place. And we are going to use, instead of at home, we are going to use where. And we are going to use where always at the beginning. Okay, good. You can see that. You can see that here. So we are using where at the beginning. And then it's the time of the auxiliary verb. Look, the auxiliary verb always goes together with the WH word, always, okay? They are best friends. And if we don't put it together, this is going to be incorrect. Okay, so to work properly, we need to put them always together, WH word, and then auxiliary verb. Okay, we can see that in the answer we have is. So we must use is in the question, okay? So at home, we change it for where, and then we must put is, and then we put the following. Where is your brother? My brother is at home, okay? We are changing the order of this, but this continues the same, okay? We continue with the next example. We have a look at the answer that says, I guess that you can see that correctly. So, Wendy was in London, okay? In London is the place. So we are going to change in London for where, and we have where there. Then we must put the auxiliary verb together. Here we have was, the verb to be. So we need to put was as well, okay? So where was Wendy? Okay, Wendy. So Wendy was in London. Can we see that? Good. Then the next one, it says, where are the keys? The keys are on the table. We can see that on the table is the place. So we are changing on the table for where. Then we put the auxiliary verb are together, okay? They are best friends and they need to work together, okay? So where are the keys? The keys are on the table. Do we understand? These are examples for the verb to be as an auxiliary verb, okay? But what happens if we don't have the verb to be in the answers? Have a look. What happens if we don't have the verb to be in the answers? For example, in this case, the answer is, I live in Briviesca. But there is no verb to be there. So we have to pay attention to the verb. Live. Can you see? Live. Okay? If it's in the present, we need to put the auxiliary verb to do in the present. If it's in the past, we need to put the auxiliary verb to do in the past. Okay? And if it's in present but third person, which means it has an S at the end, we need to put the auxiliary verb to do in third person. Let's have a look at the examples. So, example number 1, we have the answer, I live in Briviesca. I live in Briviesca. We have a look at the verb live. We have a look at this blue part in Briviesca. In Briviesca is a place, so we are going to change it for where. In Briviesca, we change it for where. Good. Then live. Is it in the present or in the past? Live. It's in the present. So we are going to use the verb to do in the present. Do. Where do you live? Where do you live? I live in Briviesca. Do we understand? Okay. Next example. Example number 2 says, where does Wendy live? We look at the answer as well. Wendy lives in London. In London is the place. Okay? In London is the place. So we are going to change in London for where. Okay? Then lives is the verb. Lives. Is it in the present or in the past? Lives. It's in the present. But it's third person because we have an S here. Can you see that? So we cannot put do. We have to put does. Okay? Does. And then Wendy live. Pay attention here. Here we don't say, where does Wendy lives? No. Why not? Because this S is here. And we cannot put it double. Okay? So this S is the does. Okay? So then here we are going to just put live. Do we understand? Yes, more or less? Okay. And then the last example says, where did you go? I went to the park. We look at the answer and says, I went to the park. To the park is a place. So we change to the park for where. Then we look at the verb. Went. Went. Is it in the present or in the past? Went. Go. Went. So it's in the past. So this case, we need to use the verb to do in the past. Did. Okay? Where did. This is referring to went. Did is referring to went because this is in the past. And as we have the past here, we are going to put then the verb in present. Okay? Where did you go? Why here is go and not went? Because did and go is the same as went. Do we understand more or less? Okay, we are going to practice together. Let's see. Okay, it says let's practice. Make questions for this answer. And we have Henry is at school. Can you see that? Okay, I'm going to come here and I am going to write it here. Okay, Henry is at school. Let me change the color here. Okay, Henry is at school. And we have at school in blue, and then is greenish. Okay, so how are we going to change this to make a question? So at school, what is at school? A place. So we have to start with where. Very good. Then do we have the verb to be in the sentence? Yes. So we need to use this just here because they are best friends. Where is, and then we need to put Henry. Where is Henry? Henry is at school. Do we understand? It's not difficult. We continue. Number 2. The keys were on the table. Let's change the keys were on the table. And we are going to highlight where, and we are going also to highlight on the table. Okay, good. So what is on the table? A place. So we need to start with where. Now, do we have the verb to be? Is, are, was, or were here in the answer? Yes, because where is the verb to be. So we have to put it together. Where? 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 What? The keys. Very good. Where were the keys? The keys were on the table. Do we understand? Very important. We have where and then the auxiliary verb. Good? Good. Okay. Example number 3. Lucy sings in her bedroom. Okay, let's go here. And it says Lucy sings in her bedroom. Here we are. Okay, and we have to highlight in her bedroom and sings. Okay, this is different. Let's see. What is in her bedroom? A place. So we use where. Very good. Where. Then, do we have the verb to be? Is, are, was, where? No. So where is the verb? Sings. Is it in the present or in the past? Sings is present. And have a look here. It's an S. So what are we going to use? Are we going to use do or does as an auxiliary? We are going to use does because this is third person. So does. Okay, so where does Lucy sing? Where does Lucy sing? Lucy sings in her bedroom. Look, here we don't have an S. Why not? Because the S is here. Good? Good. And the last one, okay? The last one. Whoops, sorry about that. Let's go. Number 4 says, they sleep in their beds. Can you see that? They sleep in their beds. So let's go here. Let's come here and say, they sleep in their beds. And we need to highlight sleep, and then we need to highlight in their beds. Okay, so now what is in their beds? That is a place, so we are going to use where again. Where? Do we have the verb to be? Is, are, was, where? No, the verb is sleep. Sleep. Is it in the present or in the past? Sleep, sleep, sleep. Anyone? It's in the present. Very good. So, in the present, we can use either do or does. We are going to use, does it have an S here? Is it third person? No. So we cannot use does. We use do. Okay? Where do they sleep? Where do they sleep? They sleep in their beds. Okay? Good, very good. I hope you understand this. Anyway, if not, you can tell me. You know, if you tell me and I help you. Good. So, these are the answers. So, where is Henry? Henry is at school. Where were the keys? The keys were on the table. Where does Lucy sing? Lucy sings in her bedroom. Where do they sleep? They sleep in their beds. These are the answers that we've made. Good. So, homework for today. We have to make questions for these answers. I've written here 4 different answers and you have to make the questions for those answers. Please pay attention to the verbs that are in green. You have to use auxiliary verbs, and to the bluish things that are placing. Okay? So, if you need any help, you know that you can tell me. Okay? I hope you understand. This is a little bit tricky, okay? But if we practice, we are going to have no problem at all. Okay? I hope everyone is good, so I hope you are all great. And if you have problems, you tell me.